Subaru. For Honda, press 1. For Subaru, press 2. To reach the administrative office, press 3. Honda. Subaru, this is Leslie. How may I help you?
Hello, Leslie. Can I speak to a Scott?
You want to speak with who, I'm sorry?
May I speak with a Scott? SCOTT? Scott?
I don't have anyone by that name in the directory. I don't know if there's anybody else who you may want to speak with.
Do you have a Christina Rodriguez?
Christina, yes, I do have her in the directory. Would you like for me to take a message and request a call back?
Could you tell them to stop prank calling my phone? Because I do not have an appointment with them and I do not touch bases and they need to stop calling my phone. I've never had an appointment with Subaru and you guys have called my phone for many, many years and you keep calling my phone and I need you to stop calling my phone because I'm documenting this call and I'm documenting your messages. And when you prank call my phone and you send me stupid messages and then I have to call you back and tell you to stop calling my phone and you have the nerve to have your manager named Scott call my phone and say how rude I was when you're prank calling my phone. So tell your drug pedo docahose to stop that shit and have a nice day. Yes, these must be racist DACA government employees. Friends, powered by Kim Obai. Yeah. Yeah, they're so stupid. So, in addition to harassing my phone, prank calling me for a really long time because Subaru, as in I've been suing for years, keeps calling me, and for some reason they want me to have a nice day. But gosh, I'm so rude making these comments back to them. Oh gosh, you don't need to be so rude. Well, I don't have an appointment with them, and I never have. And racist DACA government employee probably knows a Christina Rodriguez, is what I'm guessing. But apparently they don't have a dude by the name of Scott. Today by Scott, she says. Nope, we don't have that. And this is not a spam text either. Yeah, that's amazing. The only Scott that I'm aware of, I think, is a Scott Campbell. Is that true? I'm not sure. But I think so. Related to, let's see, Charles Campbell from my old apartments at Pinecrest, where they were drug trafficking with my old neighbors, Manny and Cherie Zuniga, related to my molester, felon, child rapist Ron Herrera at Davis, California, Megan's Law. And, Yeah, they were friends of their family, were friends of my firefighter relative, LGBTQ firefighter relative, Nicole Herrera, whose San Francisco Giants gay nanny Aunt Elaine and mother, my incest child Fingers rapist older sister Gina Pickett Prince, and Nicole's gangbang Mexican family, sex abused Nicole, and are connected to the Campos family of Enrique and Jesus Campos that are convicted drug pedo rapists and murderers whose family run HUD housing and are part of Mexican mafias that are related to cop Zuniga Garcia Hernandez Figueroa, who have media family, TV media family, that are friends of Tony Lopez of CBS, whose relative is Tom Lopez of Woodland PD, and tons of their family that harass me, including their connected family friends that run HUD, the Diaz's, whose cop, Tony Diaz, died because he was murdered from their gangbang connection. And then years later, as in this year, their Diaz family won Grammy 2025 for an audio children's book when they're drug pedos chasing my audio book, Grinch of Whoville with Original Symphony, because the lawless team came made from terrorizing my eco-protected rights to privacy, peace, joy, everything, blacklisting me, all of it, using me as an illegal experiment, violating my civil liberties for years because of these mafias that have connection to celebrities and media, and my abusive ex-retired NFL Raider Lester Hayes, who is friends of the rapist Ron Herrera family, and they're all drug pedos, and he is on my lawsuit against a racist DACA government employee that commits HUD fraud and perjury and denied child abuses, a DUI, disorderly, and a drug felon family that's listed on the Yolo County courts, where they allowed her and her cop boyfriend to put a civil restraining order against me while they commit HUD fraud and terrorize me everywhere in the community. They've never had a warrant, and they spy on me from the TV. They hack my phone with the government Alex Padilla family, who are a bunch of criminals and also stay illegally at HUD, along with the Campbell Miller Blades family. And the Millers, Nicole's ex-drug pedo lesbian, Amanda Miller, stole my apartment at Pinecrest because my manager was gay, and they said that I hated gay people. And I was kicked out of my apartment illegally after I risked my life for my black ex-boyfriend during racial profiling from the Davis police many years ago. And he lied to me and didn't tell me that on the DL his family were connected with the Millers. And so now he fucks into their Campbell Miller Blades family. Fascinating, when they used to call him niggers. Yeah, they used to call him nigger names. And throw zebra rugs at my door. But now he fucks these cops' families at HUD Housing. Yeah, at HUD Housing, like as in HUD Housing where my mom lives and where I've been blacklisted and I've been my mother's caregiver for years. And I'm on disability for PTSD, for being a survivor of rape and incest rape from my black rapist, Pierre Warner, whose HUD family, Felicia Young, was my old manager at my other apartments. And their family has trafficked with the Campbell Miller Blades, Garcias, Figueroa's Ponce, Hernandez, Campos. Yeah. For years. And recently, I posted a documentary on them harassing me, the Padillas and the Castros, connected to a Jose from DoorDash, a racist Mexican that was using, along with the accompaniment of the Les Twins, who are dancers from Paris that have been on tour with Beyonce. But celebrities in this game have mingled in my town for many years and made a shitload of assholes celebrities from a game made from torturing me. They make codes everywhere and blacklist me everywhere and promote Diddygate celebrities. And those Diddygate celebrities promote my community and then have the audacity to not only terrorize me and blacklist me, but flip narratives against me and cover their ass. And I'm on disability for PTSD, for being a victim, a crime survivor of rape, incest rape, domestic violence from my abusive ex Lester Hayes, and Davis police brutality for risking my life for my black ex Brenton Ezekiel James. And they keep doing this. So they're using their pages, the Les Twins, and a military veteran named Jerry Eric Hill that goes by the name of Joe and Troy and Trevor. And they keep using this dude's page. He's an Army vet. And he has a shitload of Mexican family. And they use his page to terrorize me and ask me for $500, harassing me. But yet I have a 5-year civil restraining order and a domestic violence cleats on a non-violent, non-criminal order. Because this government employee made a false police reports and said that I slandered her name, and she continues to lie about me to cover her own name because I reported her child abuses of beating her sons with belts and breastfeeding her daughter way past bottle stage and having a DUI, disorderly, and a drug felon family that's listed in the court systems where the Campos family work and manipulate the shit out of everything, including former Mayor Judge Walk, who's the judge that passed the order that I wasn't even at, where the federal court stated that that order was a lie and was bogus because I was not at the hearing. And he further stated it was a lie because he said, do you do your due diligence and file an appeal? And I said, yes. He said, did you further file a counter civil restraining order to the 2020 CV 1043 from this DACA government employee? And I said, yes. And that counter is 2020 CV 1157, where Judge Walk scribbled out everything, and he wasn't even the judge on that case. McAdams was. He scribbled out everything because I put her cop friends on there and talking about their hate crimes against me for years. Illegally violating my privacy, hacking my bank account information and my P.O. box, and knowing every stitch of mail that comes in, and hacking my phones for years with the Castros and the Padillas and the KCRA3 media. That's their friends. Leticia Ordez, married to DOJ Baeza, who we went to high school with many years ago. And Baeza's family is David Lara on Sacramento Megan's Law. And his Modesto family chase after my talents, musically and so forth, just like the Diaz. And a shitload of assholes. They've let in Hassan Minaj, who's related to Kop Patel in my town of UC Davis. They've let in Camp Country, John Party, Despacito writers. You know, they had Kelsey Ballerini, some stupid country twat that is blasé. Nobody even is a fan of Kelsey Ballerini. And she was here at the grad years ago promoting, you know, the game and harassing me. She's on The Voice as a host judge of that show, and they harass the crap out of me all the time and promote assholes in my community that aren't nearly as talented as I am. I make symphonies, I make jazz ensembles, I'm a singer. I was in a black gospel choir that toured up and down the coast many years ago. I sang at Epic. Yes. I sang a lot of places. And they make all kinds of conspiracies against me. And yet nobody will petition my lawsuits on any of those conspiracies. Why is that? I don't know why. I also sang at the Giants, but none of them will petition my lawsuits when the judge calls my lawsuits delusional. 215 CV 01113. Why is that? When people make allegations to conspiracize and blacklist me and harass me and violate my rights and try to ruin my reputation, but yet nobody will petition my lawsuits and say that, nope, she's not delusional. We are saying these things about her. Nobody will give me an interview, but they don't mind prank calling my phone. You know, Nicole and this DACA government employee have a letter as an exhibit in the DACA government employee's civil restraining order, 2020 CV 1043. In this letter that I've posted on my Instagram page, lyriccess.1, this letter states that they don't know what I'm talking about. Both of them. And they feel so bad for me. I must be spiraling. Am I okay? And they both say these things. And then Nicole says, oh, we just ignore her. Yeah, I've just told everybody that she's crazy. And we just ignore her. Well, if that were true, then why can't they get the world to stop terrorizing me? Because see what they did right there. While the world makes conspiracies against me so that they can promote their friends and family to the game and cover each other's ass. And Nicole covers Elaine and Gina and her racist gangbang Mexican family that sex abused Nicole. Yeah, Gina used to bathe naked with Nicole until Nicole was 12. But because she's a bisexual, they've covered her. And because Nicole is close to them and her friends try to act like they're my peers and have chased after my talents for years. Stella raping Sarah Clark. Sarah Clark is her daughter. This is second generation. Stella raped Sinette. And they're connected to the Zuniga Coker Herrera family that I grew up with 100 years ago, who have Cobb family. And they're friends of Nicole. And their friends and their families chase after my talents, musically and otherwise. Anna Davis has tons of family in Brazil and Colombia. Brazil and Colombia chase after me all the time. musically, and so forth. Anna Davis totally sex abused her children, and her brother Diego went to court for raping his daughter 100 years ago. And their mom, Patricia, I used to be friends of their families many years ago. Their mom, Patricia, has been fucking a cop in my community. They totally harassed me. I used to be friends with them. They, on the DL, were friends of the Zuniga families. Manny and Cherie and Renata. They were all trafficking. So this DACA government employee makes this letter to Nicole and says, oh, she must be upset, She must be upset about all kinds of things. It's preposterous. Let's see what this is about. Hello? Hello?
Hi, this is Allie, PRK26, calling on a recorded line for Tanya. I'm calling in regards to a personal business matter for Tanya McDaniel.
For what?
A personal business matter, ma'am.
Okay, and what is it about?
I don't know who I'm speaking with to be able to disclose private details or private information.
Okay, well, you've called my phone number, so you can go ahead and tell me what it is about.
It's a personal business matter, ma'am.
Well, I am Tanya, so go ahead. You called me.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. So I'm calling from Portfolio Recovery Associates. I have you associated with Temple Drive. Is that still correct?
Nope.
Okay, and then I have...
Anyways. So, it's unreal. This DACA government employee has people calling my phone and trying to give me bad credit so that I can continue to be blacklisted. I don't have any bad credit. I don't have any student loans because Obama wiped out student loans during his administration, and I'm on disability. I had to stop going to college when I was with Britain years ago, and I was getting ready to go to law school, and yeah, the school was up in a riot about me, because simultaneously to me breaking up with Britain after police brutality, I started to date Lester Hayes, the retired Raider, again, because I met him first and I dated him first, and then I met and then I met Britain, and then after I broke up with Britain, I got back with Lester again and started dating him again. And during that time, these celebrities were making songs about me, harassing me, being at my community, helping these cops' families that are connected to Lester, and he didn't tell me, and all of that kind of crap. Campbell Miller Blades, the Padillas mostly. Candy Padilla is a photographer for the NFL and lives in Turlock and has harassed the shit out of me for years with her DMV a-holes and tons of bastards. This is Alex Padilla's family, government official. Now understand this, the Padillas, there's a lot to say about them. They have gangbang family that used to live in the Bay Area on, and maybe some of them still do, my aunt's block in San Pablo. And she relocated out of her street after my uncle passed because of their cult purge voodoo game. And my aunt relocated. They had lived there since the 60s when their house was $60,000. Okay, that's the Bay Area. And then they redid their home. They refurbished it and they, just redid their home really nice and everything, and then she relocated out of her home that she did not want to move from because her husband was now gone. And the Padillas were terrorizing the shit out of her. They were gangbangers that lived on her block that, in my opinion, moved into their relatives, their old relatives' home that had lived there previously. And so they came in there and they moved in, like, I would say about 10 years before my Uncle Don passed. And they would shoot off firecrackers that were dynamite explosions. They were, there's a certain number on illegal explosives that categorize as dynamite. And my aunt knew about all of this stuff and firearms and everything else because my uncle and everything. And so here they were blowing up the fucking neighborhood. And then the year that my aunt passed, a few months before, was the 4th of July, which they loved to blow up the neighborhood on the 4th of July with illegal fireworks from Mexico, right? So they come here to Davis, and my aunt decides to spend the weekend with my mom, and they start blowing up the neighborhood in Davis because they've got Padilla family.